Hey, this is Darin Kidd, and welcome to my leadership podcast. I am very grateful to have you here today because, yes, you're a part of the very first episode, the foundational episode, and we're going to do so many great things with this podcast, and so I'm very thankful to have you on this journey with me. Now, this podcast is for network marketers that understand the importance and the value of leadership. Okay, they know that, look, if we want to take and grow and scale our business, then we've got to grow our leadership. If we want to make a bigger impact, we've got to grow our leadership. But it also, when you work on leadership, it affects every single aspect of your life. And I remember making the mistake, and actually I look back now, it wasn't really a mistake. I'm very thankful that it happened. But I told a mentor of mine that had the life that I wanted. And that's important. You know, if you buy people's opinion, you buy their lifestyle. And I remember saying, hey, look, you know, I know this leadership stuff is important, but it's not really important to me. I will learn those things when I grow a big team, you know, when I go out there and make a lot of money. And he told me what I needed to hear, definitely not what I wanted to hear at that time, because it ticked me off. And now I know that, look, when things rub you the wrong way, a lot of times they're meant for you. And we want those people in our life that tell us what we need to hear and not what we want to hear. So when I told him and gave him those excuses, he said, Darin, that's a bad attitude. The attitude comes before the paycheck. The attitude comes before the big team. So if you want to go out there and do those things, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And so you need to start working on those things right now. And that was a very valuable lesson for me that, hey, look, I don't make what I want, I make what I am. And if I want to make more, I need to become more. And in network marketing, the only way that you make more is you've got to be able to make a bigger impact. You've got to be able to influence more people, which is why I love the business model so much, because you're helping other people. If you help other people get what they want, right? Zig Ziglar says you can have everything that you want. And so leadership is definitely a passion. It's something that I get very excited about. And now that I understand how important it is in every area of our life, I want to be able to go out there and help you grow in your leadership and help you get to where you want to be a lot sooner than later. So if that sounds good, you're definitely in the right place. Now, who am I and why would I listen to you? Right? My wife says it all the time. Why would I listen to you? By the way, I like to have fun. I believe that laughter leads to listening. And so there's going to be a lot of dad jokes, you know, with 5 kids. There's going to be a lot of dad jokes, but I like to have fun. And I think that that you should too. You know what? It's the process. It's the journey. And when you enjoy the journey and you enjoy the process, it just makes things so much better. All right. So let me share with you a little bit about my story because I think that's important. You know, John Maxwell said that, look, you can't talk about what you don't do no more than you can come back from somewhere you've never been. And a leader will tell but never teach until they practice what they preach. And so when you're listening to me and going, look, why would I listen to Darin? Can he relate to what I'm going through? And so before I left the network marketing, profession to become a speaker, trainer, and a coach, I was 28 years as a distributor, just like you. And you hear all the great things that I was able to accomplish because I was very blessed when I had the right mentors that came into my life to do some great things. So you've probably heard or seen some of that on my site or the bio. Yeah, I was a multiple 7-figure earner, built teams of several 100,000 people that did hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. I was a top recruiter. No matter where I went, and hundreds of thousands of people, I could go straight to the top in recruiting. I was a top customer getter. I was top for retention. I was in the magazines and the books and interviewed on Grant Cardone TV and on an advisory panel for John Maxwell with a book that he wrote for the network marketing, industry. So those are great things. But what you probably didn't hear, unless you've been following me for a while, is the story behind the story. And to be honest with you, we have to say those things. I don't even like talking about myself, but I think we have to say those things to bring you back to how it started so you know that I understand what you're going through, right? Because you may not have heard that I failed my first 7 years, right? May not be fast, but I'm slow. So 7 years, I failed. And then I had some mentors that came into my life. I started working on my leadership and learning about systems and duplication and the proper way to, prospect and how to increase retention. And I started working on those things. And for 13 years, I was able to go out and have a lot of success. But then when I started to level up my leadership even more, and I made a few adjustments over the next 7 years, things really took off. Okay, I had a 40-month window where I had more things happen from volume, income, production, and on and teams that just exploded. In 40 months, I did more than I would have if you would have added up the previous 40 years and combined it together. Now, that's not to impress you. It's to express to you that it's not because Darin Kidd was that great. It was because of some of the things that we're going to talk about on this podcast. And we're going to be doing a lot of great things to help you go further, faster in your network marketing business. So yes, I had a lot of success, very blessed and excited. The reason that I launched this show is I wanted to be the person to other people that I wish I had when I got started. It would have shaved years off my learning curve. It would have helped me compress time frames. It would have helped me get a lot further faster if I just had someone that was guiding me along the way. So right now, maybe you feel like you're stuck, right? You could be stuck at $500 a month. You could be stuck at $50,000 a month. I feel your pain. I know exactly what you're going through. I know the emotional roller coaster where one day you could be on top of the world and the next day you're in the self-doubt phase. And, you're like, oh my gosh, is it really worth it? Can I really go to the next level? And a lot of times we find out that, hey, look, the enemy is the inner me. And every time that I have gone to a different level in my life, in my business, it is because I finally believed that I could. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my belief into you until you have that belief for yourself. And you may just get one aha moment on a podcast, but it only takes one to help you break through to that next level and do something that you've never done before. And I'm excited because yes, it does take a different level of thinking. It does take some different actions. The same level of thinking that got you to where you are and the same actions are not the same things that are going to get you to the next level. It's going to take a new way of thinking, and it's going to take some different, actions and things that you're going to implement, but they're all very simple things that if I can do, you definitely can do. All right, so that's a little bit about the business side. Now, on the personal side, some of you may be watching going or listening going, hey, look, Darin, well, you don't understand. I'm just really busy. I'm just so busy. I've got a family. My wife and I have 5 kids. So let me just give you a little disclaimer. Be careful. Like that can happen if you work from home. You get the kids off to school, then you come home and you're working from home and you get bored. And next thing you know, there's another kid on the way. and I wouldn't trade it for anything, but busy life with 5 kids. And when I had the biggest team I've ever had, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world, my wife and I also owned multiple franchises. And so leadership, yes, I understand how leadership works, whether it's traditional business or it's in network marketing. So having multiple franchises, and for any of you that have ever owned your own traditional business, you understand that you don't own the business owns you, because it was a constant headache. And we had employees and we had overhead and things breaking down. And the franchises we had, look, they were pretty simple. They were frozen yogurt franchises. Doesn't really get any simpler than frozen yogurt, right? But what's pretty awesome is that our network marketing income, in 1 month, we were generating more income than both those franchises combined in an entire year. And we spent $700,000 on those franchises. So leadership applies to every area of your life. So we had franchises, we had a massive network marketing team, 5 kids, sporting, events, all the things that go on in a daily life. And so I understand what it takes when you're busy. But when I leveled up my leadership and I worked on developing leaders, okay, here's what's fascinating. I was less busy with a team of hundreds of thousands of people than I was when I had a small team because of leadership. So married almost 30 years, 5 kids, and up at 48 years of my life, I just turned 49. So for 48 years of my life, I lived in a very small town. I think it was 1,500 people in the actual town. If you went out into the country for miles and miles and miles, maybe it was 10,000 people. And so if you're sitting here going, hey, you know what, Darin, I live in a small town. I understand. I'm a college dropout. My wife's a college dropout. You heard about the success that I had, but the 7 years that I failed, we ended up bankrupt on government assistance. I was applying for food stamps because I could not feed my kids. I could not support my wife. Dropping out of college and not being able to keep a job, I ended up going, man, there's really no hope. I'm a loser in life. And so I went to the doctor and they put me on medication for depression. I mean, this has been, when I was 25 years old, it's been a long time ago, but I remember being at that place where I felt like I had no hope. And that's why now I love looking at people not as how they are, but how they can be with their God-given potential. And I want to share that hope and that message and help guide you along. Leadership, we know what a travel agent is. A travel agent, they go, hey, listen, here's a great place for you to visit. All right, let me sell you the package and good luck. I hope you have fun. But what I want to do is I want to be your tour guide. I want to go with you and show you the way, right? Because I don't want you to take 28 years to learn what I learned. I want to help you get there a lot sooner than later, shorten your learning curve, and help you compress time frames. Now that you know a little bit more about me and my family, let's talk about my vision for the podcast. Not only are we going to be bringing you interviews from some of the top network marketing leaders in the entire world, and we'll hear from them. Hey, look, what's the latest and the greatest strategies, tips, techniques? We'll be talking about social media, digital marketing, branding. We'll be talking about systems. Yeah, you're busy like I am, right? But we only have 24 hours in the day. And Peter Drucker says, look, it's not how much you do, it's the effectiveness of what you do. So how do we put the right systems and processes in place to be able to scale and grow your business without working an extra 50 hours a week? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about attraction marketing. How do you use social media to go out there and attract more people to you? We'll talk about culture. How do you create the right culture in your organization? How do you create a monthly rhythm that allows your organization to thrive when other people are just trying to survive? So those are just a few things that we're going to go over and much, much more. So now you probably can see why I'm so excited to launch this podcast and have you here with me, because we're not only going to have a lot of fun, we're going to make a big difference. So as I close out, let me share with you a few very important things as we move forward. If your team is not growing as fast as you would like, from my experience, there's 5 mistakes that leaders make that sabotage their team growth. And if you want to find out what those 5 mistakes are so you can avoid them, then I've created a free resource for you. If you just go to darinkidd.com/leadership. And Darin Kidd, I know if you're listening to this, you can't see the screen. If you're on YouTube, you can. We'll put it on the screen. It's DarinKidd.com/leadership. So once again, we'll put that in the show notes. Be sure to grab that free resource. Also in the show notes, I'm going to put where can you find me. Let's make sure that we connect on the social media platforms, but also make sure that you subscribe to this podcast, no matter which platform. It's going to be on all the platforms, whether it's Apple, it's Spotify. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also click the bell where you get alerted every time we have a new episode. And here's where I would love your support. Let's share this on social. Make sure to tag me, screenshot it, and you can also grab the direct link. That's probably the best thing because you can post it on social and you can send it to your organization. We want to take and we want to make a big impact. We want to help you move the needle. And with you helping me get the word out, that's going to benefit both of us. So make sure, again, to share, tag, screenshot. And one more thing, if you could give me a positive review on Apple, that would mean the world to me because that's going to help get the word out that, hey, listen, this leadership podcast is something that's worth listening to, and we're excited to be a part of it. And again, it's all about impact and influence, and we want to make a big difference. And I appreciate you for helping me do that. So I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. Can't wait to see you on the next episode. Take care.